Boom, shaka like a boom. You tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. The man sitting across from me is Shaun the Turk YURTKURAN. Good morning, Mr. YURTKURAN.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, brother. Good.
Are you weather aware?
I am weather aware. Weather aware. Apparently, it is apocalyptica this weekend.
Yep.
And I have reserved a seat at a crawfish boil tomorrow, beginning at 1 p.m. And if I'm going to die, I just as soon die by tornado at a bar eating crawfish with good friends and family than I would at the house hiding in a hallway.
I guess it's one way to look at it.
God bless my dogs, but I mean, if we're all going, I'd rather go with the family. Maybe the dogs are allowed at the bar. We'll see.
I don't know, man. That's a close one. I'd have to pick the dogs too.
Yeah,
yeah. I want to bring them. Yeah,
and maybe the dogs can come with me. So, but other than that, hey, again, stay weather aware tomorrow. Real quick, I mean, all joking aside, if your house does receive any wind damage, your roof receives any damage, just keep Watkins Construction and Roofing top of mind. They'll come out and do a complimentary roof inspection after the storms. I always hate trying to plug something during a storm or something like that, but if you're going to need them, they pay for advertising, and we talk about them, so they are top of mind when you do need them. I don't like feeling like I'm being tacky or anything like that, but again, that's you're going to need them, and these are good guys to use. So Watkins Construction and Roofing, they got a website, nomoreroofleak.com. That's nomoreroofleak.com. After the storms come, if you got any questions about damage, they're going to come out. They're going to knock it out for you, complimentary. That means they're not going to charge you anything. They're not going to try to force a whole new roof on you if you don't need a new roof. They're just going to fix what needs to be fixed, and sometimes that is, in fact, the entire roof. Sometimes it is not. No different than you wreck a car. Sometimes it's totaled out. Sometimes they fix it. All right, Watkins Construction Roofing, locally owned, locally operated. Great folks. Shaun YURTKURAN. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. I saw your Shockwave post last. I was about to text you that, actually, because I think then you had already tagged it.
So. I believe that WLBT may have deleted that.
Did they really? I saved the picture. I'm sure you did too. But
I did not for some reason.
I've got it. So,
and I noticed this morning when I was looking at my page that post is gone. But sometimes my page will trick me and make me think a post is gone.
Yeah, sometimes it does that.
But it's not. So I'm curious if WLBT deleted that. Maybe what's the?
Well, I've saved it for good measure in case that they did.
What's the public information director's name over there?
I don't
Stephanie,
know.
Or used to be over on WLBT or WJTV or something.
Mm-hmm.
The black lady that always does the.
Oh God, yes.
Show says we don't have any comments.
Oh, Melissa Faith Payne.
Melissa Faith Payne. Yeah, maybe Melissa Faith Payne called somebody throwing a hissy fit, and worked a little black girl magic and got it taken down.
I'm sorry. Wow, that's crazy. I'm going to look it up, see if they took it down. You're right. That's nuts. Now I've got the picture, saved right here though. So it's quite wonderful and quite. I don't know what the word.
Let's tell people what it is.
It's so there is a post on WLBT last night that popped up around 8:00, and it seems to be the Committee to Defend Chokwe Antar Lumumba and their statement, which the statement reads. The federal indictment of Mayor Lumumba is part of a nationwide attempt by federal prosecutors to stifle black political power and undermine black leadership that is working in the interest of black communities. The indictment serves to bolster state government efforts to undermine Mayor Lumumba's exercise of his mayoral duties. It is a stunning waste of taxpayer dollars. That is one of the most insane statements I think I've ever read. But
it is still up for whatever reason. When I shared it to my page, it shows post is no longer available. That's weird.
Okay.
So yeah,
I got it too. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a screenshot from our source over there.
Mm-hmm. So they still got it up.
That is so weird. But like I said, sometimes it does that, and I'm glad to know that that's what it was here. Because WLBT I don't know that they've ever deleted a post.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that would have been weird.
Well, I mean, certainly, super newsworthy that there's somebody that would, I guess they tried to raise, what I read in the article, around $750,000 they estimated for his defense.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's strange. Maybe they just said there's like a Clay Edwards button on there.
Maybe so.
That could be it. They tried to raise $750,000. I don't know how much they did raise. It didn't really mention that, if I recall correctly, but for his defense, his anticipated defense in this trial, which obviously, I mean, it's going to cost a lot of money for him, and you got to pay lawyers a lot of money to sling that kind of BS.
If I could donate,
I'd need a lot of money to do this if it were me.
Can I start a GoFundMe for the DOJ? to prosecute this.
To give us more money to them.
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea.
I bet you I could raise more money than. I mean, we could pay more tax. Basically, that's a tax. I bet you we could talk people into paying more taxes than he can raise in defense.
Oh, 100. I bet you're right about that. How many people would donate?
Maybe we could donate it to charity or something. Like,
yeah.
Let's start an
That's a great
alternate.
idea.
Let's start an alternate fundraiser to.
It's a really good idea.
To show people just how disliked he is.
Yeah. How many people well, what do we call the GoFundMe?
Let's pick. What is a charity you think that that far progressive free the landers would hate?
God, that's a good question.
Something pro-life?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but I'm thinking something. It's gonna be something more. Something like tangentially related to this. Like what charity you would think would be like that? Like related to like the opposite. I don't know. Like a place that actually builds stuff like Habitat for Humanity or something like this. He wasn't actually going to build anything.
Let's let the public.
Yeah.
There's a question of the day. What charity could we donate money to that you believe would make the Lumumba's hair catch on fire? Like what charity do Democrats just hate the most right now that we could raise money for?
Guns for Tots. I don't know. Is there one for that?
Well, I would start giving them out in Jackson.
You know,
we got to eliminate a lot of problems early.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about what it would be. It's hard to think of like
some
charities.
Kind of pro-police.
Yeah, there you go. Like the
fund.
Police Benevolence Association. Yeah, that would be it, right?
I like that.
Police Benevolence.
Maybe something to build a new jail for them.
Right. Yeah.
Can we donate to Hinds County to get that new jail built?
Yeah. So, I mean, something that would really upset him. Yeah, I just, reading this last night, it was funny because, like, I saw you tag me right when I was about to text it to you, and I was like, okay, well, Clay saw this already. And it just shocked. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone, like up is down, down is up. When you read something like that, it's crazy to me. I wrote a Facebook post, too, and when I was saying, I was like, he literally was caught on a yacht taking money with the DA. The DA's got a photo of him putting cash in his pocket, and then there's other video I assume that's going to come out just based on reading the indictment of them at Tootsie's, which is a very famous strip club in Miami where I grew up, and everybody knows about Tootsie's. All the Dolphins players hang out there all the time. Anyway, I don't know. How do I know this? But anyway, it's a very famous strip club. They went to Tootsie's. I'm sure there's video of them at Tootsie's tipping strippers with our tax dollars. Like, how is this like an attack on the mayor when he is on a boat taking cash? I mean, I can't think of a more like movie-esque scenario than what we've got here, than that event occurring. And it's not like people are just talking like, oh, the mayor was on a boat. No, there's a video. There's a video of him on the boat committing all the criminal acts. Like, this is, okay, when we talk about the law beyond a reasonable doubt, this is beyond a reasonable doubt that he did all of this stuff. There's no doubt here that he did it. He's on video. It's all there. His campaign finance reports, which he filed, on the last day, reflects that he received, 5 separate checks for $10,000 from corporations that were set up by the district attorney. I mean, this is not a whodunit. We used to say that when I was prosecuting, like, oh, it's a whodunit. This is not a whodunit. We know who done it. He did it. He did it. He did it.
Allegedly, of course.
I mean, I don't even know if it is on video. Like, I don't know what more evidence anybody could possibly need. His only argument is that, like, well, he was going to move the bid deadline anyway, and then, the campaign finance laws are loose, so it doesn't, or some crap that they're going to come up with. I get it. I'm a lawyer. That's what we do.
And let's not forget that one of the guys whose checking account got used, Smith,
Marvay Smith,
one of the people whose check, it was his checking account, one of them, right?
One of them, I believe so. Yeah, that's right.
He's already pled guilty to this.
He has, yeah.
I mean, so if he wasn't guilty, then why wouldn't Chokwe be?
No, I mean, right, yeah.
If he's guilty, why wouldn't Chokwe be?
No, that's a good point. I mean, why is he right? Why is he pleading guilty in this? That seems to be what his role was, to funnel that $10K to Chokwe. And there may be more, I'm sure, that we don't know about out there that he had.
Just at surface level. You've got an Angelique Lee. Now, I know her checking account's not attached, but you've had 2 people already plead to felonies on this with potential jail time.
Right.
Chokwe going to jail.
Yo, he's going. I mean,
suit up, boot up, lube up.
I mean, I've sent people to jail for stealing a car now, so I feel like pretty confident Chokwe is going to prison. It just is a question of how long. Now, though, what I think he's doing, if I'm the federal government, I'm getting pissed because I'm seeing something like this. I'm like, there's no and if I'm the federal judge, the sentencing judge, I'm looking at this. I'm like, you have absolutely no remorse for any of your actions. You've actually are making a mockery. Not only that, you're blaming the state. What does the state government have to do with this? It was a federal operation. It's not like Tate Reeves called up Joe Biden and was like, hey, Joe, all that stuff I always talk crap about it. I need you to work up this, investigation against this black mayor that I hate. So you can be on the line, in line with us Republicans in Mississippi. That's ridiculous. That didn't happen. I was really upside down. I'm sitting mad because I was getting mad reading this last night, thinking about how stupid this was, or for anybody to actually believe it. The state government, you can say what you want about the state government and Jackson relationships, but I've talked about that a lot. I don't really see what the argument is there, but I think the state government's actually done a good job with Jackson. When we go through lists of that, we have a billion times. But the fact that you're going to blame, I don't know what the state government has to do with a federal operation that was put under by the Biden DOJ.
Yeah, I had lunch with pretty powerful guy yesterday. He just says they don't trust giving the mayor money.
Can you blame them? Can you
they don't trust giving the mayor money, and it solidified a lot of thoughts that we all assumed, and it's not that they don't want to give Jackson money. They're fixing to give Jackson Water a bunch of money to help float it.
Because they're in a shortfall, right?
Yeah, because there's still 14,000 people not paying their water bills.
I read that the other day. They're going to up all of our water bills and stuff, and because they have, even if they do that, Hennepin said there's still going to be a shortfall. So there's a problem.
It's going to be taken care of.
Well, that's good.
It's going to be taken care of.
I think that,
and that's the state working with but then it's not going to give Chokwe the money.
Well, I talk about this all the time, and everybody's talked about this for decades. The state government doesn't like Jackson. They gave it a police force.
These guys still live in Jackson.
Yeah, they live in Jackson. Delbert Hoseman lives in Jackson. Mm-hmm. Who else? Tate lives in Jackson. They're all in Jackson. And I'm sure there's more that live in Jackson. I think about just the state leadership. They gave them a police force. They fixed the water system. From ruin, and then there was federal money. People forget that the federal money came after that. Tate went out there, and the state government got this thing together and fixed it and got people water. What are they supposed to do? What else is supposed to do?
Write a check to Rakia and Chokwe and let them do as they wish, Sean. That's what they want to do.
That seems to be. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do.
That's what they want to do. All right, look, let's take a break. Let's stay on schedule this morning. Hey, if you're watching online, I know you see me wearing this sexy green FAFO shirt. This weekend is St. Patrick's Day. I've got a couple 2XL larges left, literally 3, 4, maybe 5. But the pre-orders to get your shirt for next weekend, the parade, they stop at close of business today. Well, really till about midnight tonight or so. But I guess at this point, as long as we get the order in by the end of the weekend, because we'll order the shirts Monday, and we'll get them printed by Wednesday and get them to you. Anyway, if you want the shirt by next weekend, order it today. Order the shirt today. BuyFAFO.com. You can see the back of it there. Got the big FAFO. Folks on the radio land, go to BuyFAFO.com. The green 2025 St. Patrick's Day shirts for the parade. They're looking good. If you got yours early, you could be wearing it to Martin's Livingston Sunday or to Cypress Point Saturday for their big crawfish boil in St. Patrick's Day celebration. Anyway, we'll be right back. WYAB. Breaking rules when necessary. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Real quick, man, I want to apologize to everybody for being MIA yesterday. That was not my intentions to be MIA. I went to Magnolia Tribune and the Magnolia Tribune's big top 50 of Mississippi party Tuesday night, and I didn't indulge or anything. I just simply went home. Shout out to Russ Latino for the invitation. Got to sit at the table with some great folks. By the way, and one of them I'm supposed to give a shout-out to Jack, and I left Jack's business card out in the car. I'm going to have to get it because I promised Jack a dang shout-out, and I'm going to give it to him at some point this morning. But we got to sit at the Magnolia Tribune table. Archie Manning gave a phenomenal speech. Well, it wasn't really a speech. Russ Latino interviewed Archie, and basically almost like a podcast on stage. Mm-hmm. It was like a 30-minute conversation with Archie Manning. Guys, I'm going to tell you what, remove your thoughts on State and Ole Miss, Egg Bowl drama type stuff. Archie Manning is a phenomenal human being. And that was one of the best, most motivational speeches I've seen in a long time. So good so that my date pulls out her phone and starts recording so she can send her 12-year-old son who plays baseball and all of that, because she wanted him to hear what he was saying. I mean, he was just talking about, he said, look, I never won any championships, but we played in some big games. Playing in the big games always mattered to me, like playing in the first televised primetime college football game. Do you know that Ole Miss did that?
I did not know that. Really?
Very first primetime game. It was Ole Miss, I think, was it Arkansas maybe? I don't remember who it was. Anyway, I'm sure somebody can tell us. So, but he just talked about playing in the big games and showing up for those big games. Mm-hmm. And he talked about how the Manning family got involved in doing the stuff in the children's hospitals. And so I think they're involved in, I know the UMMC here in Jackson, Larry Batson. Peyton's involved in that one in Indianapolis for the last 17 years. And then Eli is involved in the one in New Jersey, right outside New York there. And just all that, man, talking about family and everything. It was extremely motivating and inspirational. And I just want to thank Russ for the invitation. And something else. I got to be in the room for, and I know I've told you this, and I know that we've poked at, Paul Gallo a little bit over the years, and, at Super Talk and this, that, and the other. It's all in fun and good spirits. But I got to be there. Paul Gallo got inducted into their Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what Hall of Fame it is, Magnolia Tribunes or the Mississippi Top 50 Hall of Fame, posthumously. And Davenport, the owner of Super Talk, inducted him. And look, I don't care about the competition thing at all here. Though he said some things that you can only hope people will say about you if you pass, and professionally speaking. And they said that Super Talk, he told the story of how Paul Gallo got to Super Talk, which I thought was good. But he said that Super Talk would absolutely 100% not be what it is today, the statewide entity, if Paul Gallo hadn't have been there. He talked about when they finally expanded down on the coast, Gallo told him, now we're going to flip the house red. And they did. When they got the coast, they flipped it. And I guess Super Talk takes some credit for that, for getting a conservative talk down on the coast. But so that's what he said. And then he talked about, I think he was maybe quoting Tate Reeves. I can't remember for sure. I feel like he was quoting one of the former governors. Said, you ain't made it till you've been on the Paul Gallo show. Mm-hmm. And that was so true for so long. Yeah. And that's what I want. That is what I aspire for people to say is, man, hey, you ain't made it till you've been on the Clay Edwards show. And I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that. I mean, I feel like the level of guests we have keeps rising, and we'll have a big one next week. Well, we'll announce that next week. And it just keeps going and going and going. And I know I was not invited for a passing of the baton type thing, but mentally to me, it felt like the baton was out there for somebody to grab. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be me. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to fight anybody else.
And your best instinct.
Yeah, I'm willing to.
Right?
I'm willing to fight anybody else that wants to try. You know what I mean? Yeah. I am actively aspiring to grab that baton and be the next guy in this spear in this circle. So it was cool, man. It was like I said, very motivating, and I kind of echoed what I'm saying here on my Facebook post yesterday about it. And Gallo's daughter even commented and thanked me for the kind words and whatnot, and said basically in so many words that she thought I did a good job and was a fan of the show in so many words. And so that was really cool. And hopefully that we're able to do enough here over the next few years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, however long we get to do this, that when I pass or whatever, people say those things about me. Mm-hmm. I think because that's stuff that can't be said till you're said and done, right?
Right.
And hopefully I leave enough of an impact that somebody wants to grab the baton that I leave behind.
But I see your tribute more at a Poison tribute band kind of situation, and not a night event like that.
Right.
That's I know.
No. I said Gallo and our styles are extremely different.
Yeah.
And our audiences, somewhat vary, but same energy. I want people to I want to leave a lasting impression.
Right.
So when I say grab the baton, that's what I mean.
No. And he's an icon in the state. I mean, ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, whether you agree with him on everything or not, there was one thing they talked about that he wouldn't have dinner and lunches or anything like that with any of the politicians because he felt like he wanted to be able to talk about them and say anything call them out. That is one thing where I differ is I do believe that I can still have lunch or dinner with you and come right back on here the next day and call you out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I mean, and I will.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, I don't mind.
We don't want to not get invited to certain things they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
them backroom body shots.
Yeah.
Little locker room talk.
Yeah, we don't want to get cut out from that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not afraid to I don't want to say be friend in your face and stab you in the back, but if you do something I disagree with, I'm going to call you out. And just like I expect you to do the same to me. Don't just because we're friends. I mean, my friend circle is so tight because I keep people in it that aren't afraid to call me out and tell me the truth. I mean, you'll do that. Corey does that. Fred does that. Several others will.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, we talked about this also.
Kingfish, I don't want to leave him out of that mix. He is not afraid to tell you when you're screwing up.
No.
And that's why I like him so much.
Well, we both have discussed how we like Shad White, but we still talk about stuff we don't like he does, and I mean, we think he's a good guy, but like there's issues that I have that he did, and I'm going to say it, and you're going to say it, and that just is what it is.
Finishing up my thought about why there was no show yesterday. So I went to that event, and once I started talking about that event, I ended up vomiting all that. But I didn't mean that. I wanted to get it off my chest. But there was no show. I went home. I was home by 10 o'clock. I think I had a half a beer or maybe a glass of wine when I got home. Just unwind a little bit. I was 2 episodes shy of finishing up Landman on Paramount, which, by the way, if you haven't watched Landman, highly recommend it. 10 episodes. Billy Bob Thornton is his absolute best in this. And Ollie Lauder, you may remember the whipped cream bikini scene from Varsity Blues.
Couldn't forget it.
You finally get to see it without whipped cream. You finally get to see it all without whipped cream. The circle, we have come full circle. The chapter is closed.
The chapter's closed.
But
it's a great movie.
I stayed up to 12:15 watching that, and I was like, well, man, I'll get 5.5 hours sleep for 5:30. I can live with 5 hours sleep. I can live on 5 hours sleep. Man, I bet you I slept an hour all night. And I text Chip, and I said, man, I have not had any sleep. Is there any way you can go do that show? I said, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get over to Flora, and a wall of sleep is going to punch me right in the face like I got crushed by a tidal wave. Yeah. And he beat Matt Bishop here, whose show starts at 6. So thank you to Chip for filling in yesterday. I do appreciate it. I got caught up on sleep and got really caught up last night. So I'm well rested. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with Shaun YURTKURAN here on the Clay Edwards Show. Whoever's calling, stay on hold, and we'll be right back with you on the other side of this break. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Real quick, fellas, get out to 042 Wine and Spirits tonight or this afternoon or today at any point after I think they open at 10 o'clock and grab you some wine and liquor for the end of the world celebration over the next couple of days as the tornadoes kill us all, according to all the local weathermen and women out there, all the meteorologists who have decided that the end of the world is this weekend.
As we know it.
As we know it. It's the end of the world as we... I hate REM, but I do love that song.
Do you really hate REM?
I'm not an REM guy.
Okay.
I know that. What was that one bar that's claimed to fame was REM played there?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, with the little crap hole that opened up next to Martin's for a while.
Oh,
WC Don's.
Yeah, that was, the second
the
Don's
OG WC Don's over there off West Street.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
there was an OG one. But yeah.
Just ask anybody. Apparently, everybody in Jackson was at I was at that REM show. You couldn't have all been there. It held 12 people.
So talk about the one they opened WC Don's next to Martin's like 20 years ago?
No, I'm talking about the first one.
The first one, the one.
Yeah, that's the one that REM played at.
Okay, not the one. Okay.
No, the second one was just a bunch of freaking little offices. It was terrible.
Right, it was terrible. It was
poorly converted into a bar.
I totally remember that.
I went in there one time. I'm like, this is bad, even by dive bar standards.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't even a dive bar.
It wasn't.
And no knock. I mean, I don't want to knock the legacy of WC Don's, but the second one wasn't. It wasn't it.
No, it was.
I'm glad that Joseph and them bought it, knocked it all down, and made it Martin's.
Yeah,
absolutely. It looks phenomenal use of the space now. But WC Don's wasn't it.
No.
But anyway, the OG one. Everybody was at the REM show, just like everybody claims to have been at the Hootie and the Blowfish show at the Midnight Sun.
I was not there. I was at the 311 show at the Midnight Sun.
At the amphitheater.
Yes.
Outside,
correct.
yes. Yeah, that was awesome. I wasn't there, but I heard it was awesome. I will admit I missed that. But what's that Rabbit in the Moon?
Oh, I was not there for that. No.
That was awesome.
Okay.
And I don't even like techno. But I never missed a good drug party back in the day. Anyway, as I was saying, what was this an ad read for?
I don't recall now.
Don't recall now. Oh, it wasn't an ad read, was it? It was the weather.
The weather you were talking about.
It was the liquor store. 042 Wine and Spirits.
See, we drink too much liquor and we forget the stuff.
042 Wine and Spirits. Get your liquor. Get stocked up for the end of the world weather coming this weekend, allegedly, of course. And, man, you won't regret it. Locally owned, locally operated. Huge variety. I went by there the other day and got a bottle of 19 Crimes. The Cali Red, the Snoop Dogg one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know exactly.
So good.
Yeah, it's very
one of the best reds out there right now. So they got all the different 19 Crimes. But again, it's one of probably my favorite line of wines right now. And they got all your favorite bourbons, vodkas, tequilas, rums. Huge selection of rums. Rum is so popular right now.
Really?
Yeah, all the different flavored rums and everything, and the Tennessee moonshines, and they got all the. What I love about like the Tennessee moonshine stuff, they have all the airplane bottle versions of it. So if you don't want to commit to a whole mason jar of flavor, you can just try the little airplane version of it, which I think is a phenomenally great idea for marketing. Because I don't mind spending $2 to try a shot instead of having to spend $15 on the whole thing or however much the whole thing costs and be committed to something I don't like. Anyway, they got a ton of those little airplane bottles there, all the different flavors of everything, so you don't have to commit to a full bottle. Swing by. They're right next door to Sonny's Barbecue in downtown, not downtown Brandon, but right there in front of Crossgate Subdivision on Highway 80. You can't miss it. 042 Wine and Spirits. Shaun, let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line this morning. Hey, thanks for staying on hold through the break and everything there. You're on there.
Good morning, y'all.
Hey, Sylvia.
Y'all so crazy.
How you doing?
Y'all are so crazy. You really are. Y'all are so crazy. Anyway, what I was calling about, you guys are so crazy. I wanted to tell you, you mentioned about your inner circle. I wanted to tell you that I greatly I love my inner circle, especially as I keep getting older, because a lot of times I'll be doing something and just totally upset, and then they just say a couple words or whatever to bring me back to reality. But I wanted to tell you about an incident when I was 14, and it was a long time ago, but I'm very thankful for that friend. There was an incident, someone said something to me that was really ugly, and I was really mad, and I started to go after that individual because I was going to hurt him. My friend, I'm a nice-sized individual. I weigh a lot less, though, now. And she was probably half my size. She pushed me so hard that I did it 6 lockers, and I'm talking about in those old-fashioned lockers in junior high school we used to have, because I went to school in California, and it was called junior high school. And she said to me, I'm not going to use those words, but she said to me, have you lost your mind? What's wrong with you? Those 6 lockers had to be replaced because she had pushed me so hard. And with her doing that, it did make me say, oh, what's wrong with me? Come back to reality here now. But I believe that she did that, and the Holy Spirit helped her to do it. And the reason why I say that is because my action and my thought more than likely would have had me have a criminal record. And I know that probably sounds far-stretched to folks, but I was that angry. And really angry because I wanted to hurt that individual desperately. But I'm so thankful that she did. And the Lord has allowed me to have inner circle people throughout my life who literally will step in physically sometimes or verbally sometimes or whatever to say, I need you to come back to reality. You're talking this way. You're talking crazy. You're upset. You've lost it. But, hey, stop. This is what needs to be done. And I'm very thankful that the Lord puts people like that in my life.
Amen, Sylvia.
And that
Thank
was all I
you.
wanted to say.
Appreciate
Bye.
you. Have a blessed one.
You're welcome. Bye. Have a good weekend, both of you.
Thanks. Yeah, always good to have that. Always good to have them close friends in. Always good to have them close friends. Shaun, have you seen this story about the school teacher up in North Mississippi?
I have, yeah. With the AI and the child porn and all that.
This is disgusting.
Yeah,
I mean, on a different level of disgusting.
Yeah.
And I've got a little inside information here on this, by the way.
Okay.
Let me pull my text up. I'm pulling up the story here real quick so people know what we're talking about. Let's see here. Oh, there appears to be a story attached to this. So let me get on the other side of the commercial. Guys, a teacher up in where was it? Corinth, Mississippi. A now former teacher in Corinth,
hopefully,
is facing criminal charges after police said he used artificial intelligence to create explicit videos of students. The Mississippi Department of Education sent a complaint to the Corinth Police Department on February 27th, alleging that 30-year-old Wilson Jones, a teacher at the district, violated the Mississippi Educator Code of Ethics. I'll tell you what we can do here. We're going to pull this up and play the video real quick. Shaun, I had a statistic the other day. I think it's 300. In 2022, I haven't even looked. This is what I saw in the comment section. Somebody had a screenshot from Fox. In 2022, 300 educators from K through 12 have been arrested for sexual involvement, basically, of some form, fashion, or another, with students throughout the country. 300 teachers, and I bet you they were even more emboldened through the last couple of years of the Biden administration and its big push with the LGBTQ, and they're renaming pedophiles into minor attracted people and all this stuff. And the big, again, I hate saying gay agenda because I feel I don't have a problem with my gay friends. The G and the L are the least offensive, least bothersome part of that group. It's the LMNOP that I had. It's the rest of it that I had the problem with.
But then, what's the explanation for the religious groups that have sexual problems with kids? Because that's been going on forever. I mean, we just had one the other day, like some pastor. It's always like a pastor or a youth director with some sex with kids.
Well, it is. It's always the people who are using Christianity to get to kids, and it's people who were using this LGBTQ nonsense to get to kids.
It's weird how that works. It's you see that the religious thing is something I always noticed from obviously from the prosecution perspective. There was one notable,
that's a violation of trust.
Yeah. There was the one of the most disgusting case. It was this Morrison Heights Baptist Church in Clinton. We worked on that case about 10, 15 years ago with the music guy that had molested young boys in the early 1980s, and the church, there was all this
he got off of that, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. It was a lot of controversy. Phil Gunn was involved in that, and it was horrible. One of the more horrible things, the most disgusting kind of experiences that I experienced while working in the DA's office was that case, and him actually just getting not really being as thoroughly punished as he should be. He died a few years ago, that I did read.
This story's only 30 seconds. I probably could have done without playing it. I thought it was a little long with that, but I got it queued up, so we might as well play it here.
Teacher with the Corinth School District is facing charges after police say he used AI to create explicit videos of students. A complaint was sent to Corinth police in February. 30-year-old Wilson Jones's laptop and a thumb drive were seized by investigators. Police say several students were identified in the footage. Jones was arrested today and charged with production and possession of a morphed image of child pornography.
No, I thought it was more information there, but here's what I got a text here. I got a buddy up in Corinth, up in that part of the state, pretty well connected. And I was like, he'd asked me, was I familiar with the case? I said, well, just what I saw on the news. And he says, well, the district knew about it in November. The boy was just arrested last week.
See?
That is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Unacceptable. At absolute minimum, you suspend with pay,
right?
While the investigation,
no, I agree,
is going on. Now, how much did they know in November? I don't know. But how did they find out in November? I don't know. Was it through law enforcement? Was it through a tip? Was it how was it? And I know you don't know. I'm just I know
you're saying.
I'm just like, this is just unacceptable, and heads should absolutely roll.
I guess, if you think about it, and we just discussed the, pastors and youth directors and now, teachers. I guess certain things like that, maybe draw people that have that inclinations to those, because you hear this a lot. Let's just be real. It's a school teacher, it's a pastor, it's a youth director. It's always something that has a lot of interaction with children. And I guess maybe it draws those people into that.
Have you and I talked about this? Me and somebody talked about it before. It was probably you and I. Men who teach below high school.
You and I had discussion
grades.
Before, yes, yeah,
men who are teaching elementary and middle school, especially lower elementary type stuff. look, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater completely here, because I know there's just some good folks, and also in schools, people can kind of get shuffled around a little bit. Like we need you over here, like substitute teachers and stuff. But man, there's a lot of sick, especially when it's younger guys that go and work at elementary schools and stuff. Man, I got a problem with it. I don't. To me, that's.
I know we're trying to like dance around how to say this.
You know what? I'm not going to. That's not what I do. I think you're an absolute pedophile if you choose to go, or you need to be on a list if you willingly want to go work with young kids at an elementary school. As a man, it sets off a lot of bells and whistles for me, and not in a good way. And then also when I see guys that are in their 30s and 40s that still live at home with their mom and they've never had a girlfriend, when you guys are involved with youth stuff at the church.
That's just, right. When you're
and they're always questionably gay.
Yes.
I mean, you can just tell the way they carry themselves.
Let's just say it. It's true. We both say this privately.
It's a stereotype. It's a stereotype for a reason.
It is. I mean, it's always, I can't, and I'm not going to say where I've seen this before, but in my regular life, there was one that I remember from high school, and that like we all knew that was always the youth director. Why is it always the youth director? Not all youth directors are bad, but it's a lot.
It's always the youth director because they're the ones around the young kids, and they're impressionable, and they're trying to figure life out, and it's a position of trust. To me, that it needs to be punished to the fullest extent of the law, just like when a law enforcement officer breaks that violation of public trust.
Yeah.
Just like when a politician breaks that violation of a public trust. There's a presumed public trust when you send your kid off to a youth camp or to spend time with a youth minister or whatever, and they violate you.
Oh, I think they should tar and feather these dudes. I've seen it.
Not chemically castrated, physically castrated.
I just seen firsthand. Like, this is the one in Morrison Heights in Clinton. Not that I don't think he molested any kids there. I believe but it was like he was working there when the revelations came out.
Hold that thought. We've got to take a break. This is going to roll over into hour 2.
Yeah, sure.
This is too much to end right here. But we'll be right back on WYAB. Sure. The Clay Edwards Show here with Shaun YURTKURAN. Yeah, guys, we're sitting here discussing. We got about a minute before the top of the hour break. I hate it when we break it up like this, where you get 4 minutes of commercials, a minute of radio, and then 7 minutes of commercials. But ball bounces like that sometimes. Yeah. Well, every day. It's at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, it bounces like that. But when we come back, we're going to keep on this topic of people in positions of trust molesting children, because it's disgusting, and I think we should never quit shining a light on it, even if it's old cases. But there's also a new one where a preacher down in Crystal Springs was arrested yesterday on statutory rape. Just to keep it fresh. People say, Clay, you don't talk about this stuff. Yes, I do. You just may not be seeing it on the platform you're watching it on. So we're going to hit that and more. Would love to hear from y'all. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. The Mazda of Jackson phone line. If you got any stories you want to tell concerning this, 601-879-0002. Save your calls till 8:07. We will be right back on WYAB. Online audience, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. We're going to get this all together and unpack it. I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this with the online audience, Shaun?
Yeah, sure.
Let's stay with them for a minute, man.
Okay.
The radio audience, they're in their car. They're a little more captive. These people have the world at their fingertips.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want to.
They can do whatever they want.
Sure.
Why don't we read some of the comments here. Kara says your stereotype is 100% wrong. Kara, my stereotype is not 100% wrong.
Which stereotype we made? We made a few.
Yeah. Were you talking about the one about the people at churches? Well, those are the ones that get arrested. Every one of them fit that stereotype.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying everybody in that stereotype is a pedophile.
No, that's not,
But everyone that is a pedophile fits that stereotype.
Yeah, that's it just tends to happen. I mean, I don't know. I've seen it time and again, and it's, I was telling Clay, it's one of the reasons I don't go to church anymore. I hate to say that, but, and I'm not any less religious, but I just don't want to have anything to do with, like, organized churches. Because this kind of stuff, and not just this, but other things about it really bother me. And I can get in the story about Morrison Heights, which is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my career. What happened there? We can do it when we're on air. I'd love to talk about it, but that it was to me it felt like they were trying to cover it up. What the guy did, and I wasn't the lead prosecutor on that at all, but I was in my courtroom, and it caused a lot of angst with a lot of people about what happened, and so I have my opinions on churches.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, look, I'm not throwing. I love church, and she said that I said grown men that enjoy spending times with kids is a sicko. I said I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I said not everybody. I mean, there are men that like to give back and help kids and do stuff like that, and that's fine. I understand some people have a servant heart. Is that the right way?
Yeah, I mean, I would
want to do well. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but I'm just saying more times than not. We need it. I'm sorry. I would rather lean on the side of offending somebody than just assuming they're good people. Like, let's do a little background check into you. Let's look at your internet browser history. Because, if you're in your 20s or 30s and you automatically tell me you want to go work at the elementary school, I want to look at your Google search history.
Yeah.
I want to check your computer and see what you've been looking at. And if you're clear, all good. Yeah. Better safe than sorry. Just like getting top secret clearance. They check into you. Yep. If we're gonna let you around these kids, I just want to look in. I want to see what you're looking at. If you're clear, you're clear.
Yeah. If you're,
but what is it, Sean? I don't mean to keep stepping you off.
No,
here,
you're good.
But what is it, Sean? They always say, I would have never thought he would do that.
That's exactly what they always say.
He's a good boy.
I operate, Clay, under the assumption that human beings are inherently evil, and then everything else in that context is possible. And at least just based on all the things I've seen over the course of the last 20 years. I don't operate under like people are good people. I don't really believe that.
Great this year, but these look great in person. They really, really do. The print is a little more bold than what the shirt would have you think. It is weathered, but it's on there thick. I mean, it looks good. Oh yeah, let me take it off the screen and show you. So it does look good. I'm really, really happy with these. Michael Applewhite out at Shirt Shop Graphics did a phenomenal job, but you can grab yours at buyfafo.com. They're only $30. You're going to pay that at least for any of them you find out there that day. I will get a few extra printed to sell next week, but they're going to be limited because I ain't getting stuck with any green shirts like I did last year. All right, we got to take a moment of silence real quick as we get ready to come back from the break. Boom goes the dynamite. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the radio, the only word I can spell, radio, and the interwebs. We're streaming worldwide in stunning 4K video at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. You got Shaun, YURTKURAN, and myself here on a FAFO Friday. It's a fool around and find out Friday. Get your heads out the gutter, people. The F doesn't stand for a bad word. Shaun, plug the YURTKURAN law firm for them in case they decide to do a little bit of FAFO on this St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Yeah, as we all know, Monday is St. Patrick's Day. And if you go out and drink and drive, and I got to say this, call an Uber. But if you don't, which a lot of you won't, but you should, call an Uber. You can call me at 601-862-1320. I do a lot of DUI work, and I can help you out. And or reach me at onetextlaw.com.
You know what I bought last week, Shaun? A breathalyzer.
Did you? I've done that before. That could get bad. Yeah. Have you read Tucker Max's book, They Hope They Serve Beer in Hell?
Yes.
I remember when he bought the breathalyzer. Well, then I did too because I read the book, and that was not good.
No. And I did. To be clear, I bought it for entertainment purposes only, not for actually seeing if I've had too much to drink to drive. I'm never drinking and driving again.
Yeah.
But I did buy it just for entertainment purposes. Like when me and Philip have been doing the Tuesday night podcast, my plan this past week was to drink and measure.
Yeah.
But I had not had time to play with it yet and really figure out how it works and all that.
Right.
So this past Tuesday, I didn't really get to do it. But this Tuesday on the podcast, I'm going to drink and measure, drink and blow. Well, anyway.
Drink and blow. Anyway.
We're going to drink and blow.
Right.
And if we were eating crawfish, we could drink, blow, and suck heads. So, hey, get your
wonderful
mind,
Tuesday night.
Get your mind out the gutter,
bunch
people.
Of dudes to
We're talking about eating crawfish and blowing in a breathalyzer. But anyway, I thought that would be fun. But yeah, anyway, I always thought it would be curious to know, like, what is the limit? But everything's different.
I've done it before, man. It gets bad. I'm just giving you some advice. Like,
well, yeah, because you got to take into account, did you eat?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you try to breach your record is the problem. You'll blow 0.11. You're like, oh, I could get higher than that. And then you start.
You're talking about just seeing how drunk you.
Yeah. You're gonna. It doesn't stop.
I was trying to see like what you could do to stay in the legal limit.
No. That's not what's gonna happen. You're gonna compete with yourself. You're like, oh, I can get up to 0.20 and still walk.
Oh yeah,
that's what you're gonna do. You're like, I can totally still walk.
Old Clay that's where his mind would have gone initially, of course. But like new and improved Clay, it's like, what's the limit of how many drinks can I get under legal limit?
By about 11 p.m., it's going to be you on Facebook with a picture of 0.24. You're like, I'm still standing up.
We are the champions.
Show's canceled Wednesday morning. You know, right?
Yeah, if the chip's in here Wednesday morning, you know what happened.
Yeah.
Shout out to 042 Wine and Spirits. Yeah. This segment brought to you by 042 Wine and Spirits. No, all joking aside, this segment brought to you by our good friends over at Ellis Autoplex. Guys, get by and see Casey and the team today for all your automotive shopping needs. If your car gets taken out by one of the tornadoes tomorrow or this evening, get over to Ellis and let them replace it for you. And look, they call it Little Truck City. They specialize in four-door, four-wheel drive pickups, but don't worry, they got two-wheel drives, cars, trucks, cars, and SUVs as well. You know, I just got that Raptor. They've got a nice bright blue, like an electric blue Raptor out there. Go by, check it out, and more. Shop them online, ellisautoplex.com. And look, don't forget, they're doing major repairs on vehicles now, too. So let them, if you got any transmission issues, you have these EcoBoost F-150s, the cam phasers are bad about going out. If you're having any problems with your EcoBoost, I would dare to say they're EcoBoost specialist. Just give them a shout today. And, of course, they work on more than F-150s. They can work on anything. That's ellisautoplex.com, located right there on Highway 471 in Flowood, Mississippi. As soon as you get off 25 at the 471 exit, take a right. If you're heading east, take a right, and boom, there's a second dealership on the right. You can't miss it. You can spell. You'll see the sign, Ellis Autoplex. Shaun YURTKURAN. I want to say something. I'm getting a lot of texts from people about the UMMC nurse and us having the audacity to have a different opinion about what could have possibly happened, and not discussing how a lot of the people that work there feel that it's an extremely dangerous lot and they don't protect them at all. We will discuss that if we have time today. We'll get into that in the second half of hour 2. But I want to play the hot hand right now, and the hot hand is, and I don't want to discount, and I don't want to discount the people that work at UMMC's fears either. I understand, I get it, and I'm not saying that those things don't happen. They 100% happen. I'm just saying I don't believe that's what happened this time.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying here. And I'm not doing that just to have a juicy story on social media.
Because you and I thought the same thing. We didn't even talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then when we did, you're like, dude. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I think. I don't think this is true.
It's just, I mean, I haven't never said that about a UMMC story before. And I've heard them before. I'm just saying something about this one that gets my spidey senses tingling.
Yeah,
for being BS. But again, I could be wrong, and if I'm proven wrong, I'll say I was wrong. I'm not lying. There's a difference in being wrong and lying.
Yeah, I mean, you can come out, they could catch some guy, and they're like, okay, we caught William, MF or whatever, and he's the one who did it. I feel like that's highly unlikely in that generic situation. So.
Yep. All right, circling back to our pedophiles in positions of trust.
Yeah.
Stuff here. There was just a. Let me do this real quick.
Sure.
There was just a bust yesterday down in Crystal Springs. Do I have this story ready to play? I do. Let's just play this real quick here. It's only 30 seconds, but there's no text to read. I've got to play the dang video. Bear with me 2 seconds. I should have had it ready, but your boy, I didn't. There it goes. All right. Now the internet folks can hear it. This is from WLBT.
Springs pastor is behind bars tonight following his arrest for statutory rape. Christopher Willett faces multiple charges after the victim came to the police station with a psychologist detailing the abuse. Willett is a pastor at First Presbyterian Church of Crystal Springs. He's also charged with sexual battery, unnatural intercourse, computer luring of a person, and child pornography. Police say Willett was known to have guns and was lured to City Hall so he could be arrested without incident. He's in the Copiah County Jail with no bond tonight.
So if y'all look at his picture here, I mean, he kind of fits the, innocent until proven guilty, but sounds pretty bad with all the different charges. He kind of fits the profile, heavy-set guy, kind of what I vision one of these guys looking like, you know. So it fits more like choir director, but
yeah,
but whatever.
Well, I just did that. That's what I was saying. When people were like, "Well, is this you just making this up?" I googled. My Google search is youth directors molesting. Okay, and anybody can Google this. What comes up is Michigan church youth director faces 22 new felony charges. That's from March 5th of this year. Oregon Youth Authority, widespread sexual abuse of boys in custody. Former youth director at Fort Leonard Wood sentenced to 30 years for child sexual abuse. Denton youth director. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Okay, let's be honest. There's a problem here. There is a problem here with this. Why? I mean, all you gotta do is do a Google search. So, not making it up.
Can you Google something along the lines of statistics of youth directors in church molesting in churches?
Yeah. I wonder if they do. If they have like an actual statistic of this, which they probably do.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure some far left-wing groups want to prove that all Christians are pedophiles.
Right. Okay, yep, you're right about that. Sexual abuse and religious organizations, but that's from something out of like Australia. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, for this particular topic, it can be global. This is religion we're talking about here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just I don't have the exact. It's not giving me percentages. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, it says sexual. There's another one. Sexual abusers in Protestant Christian churches and offender typology.
Why you're doing that?
I can't find the actual statistics.
Terry on YouTube asked, "What did owning guns have to do with that story?" Terry, I think they were just suggesting that they thought if they went to arrest him at home, that it could become a dangerous situation, considering the extreme, considering the charges being as serious as they are. Pedophilia and child pornography and stuff on computers. I think they just thought if they could lure him to the courthouse for some reason or another, it would be a safer situation for everybody involved, arresting him, apprehending him there. That's what I gathered from that.
There is a here in Christianity Today, which is a Christian publication. It says that 14% of those ages 18 to 34 have quit going to church because of sexual advances from people in the church. So that's only a statistic I can find.
What was it?
14% of people 18 to 34 have quit going to church over sexual advances they experienced at church.
Wow, that seems like a lot.
Yeah, and that's a Christian publication, so it's not like you're like somebody trying to. I mean, here you look at the Houston Chronicle. Over 20 years, 700 victims in the Southern Baptist sexual abuse scandal. I mean, there's just So I don't know. I mean, I guess we're not saying that church is bad, but there's some issue if this keeps on being so pervasive, I would say.
So it was huge in the Catholic Church. We all know that, right?
Sure. We all know about that.
And I think one of the reasons there is they make those guys take a vow of celibacy, and then they put them in charge of a bunch of young boys, and inevitably, I don't know. I'm not drawn towards other men in any form, fashion, or another. But I mean, I guess you put people in that situation, whatever. I don't know. The way the church handled it was very, very bad. And it's just, and remove that, it's happening in these smaller Southern Baptist churches as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and every other version of Christianity. I'm just Baptist, Presbyterian, whatever. I don't care which version of Christianity you are. I've never been like home team.
Yeah, me either. Right?
The Catholics versus the Baptists versus the Presbyterians versus the.
Do you accept Jesus as your Savior? That's only whatever way you do that. Knock yourself out. I'm the same way. Yeah.
I've never really understood the differences, and other than Pentecostals doing things a little bit different, I've never really understood the differences in any of them.
Yeah, same here. I'm just like we all believe the same thing, right? So. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. Well, obviously, I don't think, and I guess I don't want anybody to think that the point of the conversation is that religion is bad.
No, it's not about that.
There's organizational issues. Obviously, is what it seems to me.
Well, what I think it is it's not managed by any big group. Every little church is managed by itself.
Yeah.
You penetrate the trust of the people in that church, and it's easy. And then boom, you have easy access to children.
Yeah.
It is a pedophile's dream scenario, right, where really, because it's so much volunteer-driven work, that all you got to do is just be willing to volunteer and do it and show up, and you're going to be given. Well, you're here in the Lord's house. We're obviously a good person, and you can mumble off a few Bible verses. Point. You're easily believed, right. And I mean, you can work your way up through the church power structure pretty quick.
Because it doesn't just draw. It's a great point you're making. Like, it doesn't just draw pedophiles, but it also draws like hucksters. Yeah, there's like a ton of hucksters. We joke about the church hustle all the time. I mean, there's still like, you got like hucksters and then the pedophiles. It draws because you're under the cloak of something good, like talking about something you want to trust, religion, God. Like, we all trust that, but it's easy to draw in these kinds of people. I mean, that are the pedophiles, the hucksters, and that's what makes it. That creates my difficulty with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, like so many of these churches now have these grade A security teams. And to the best of my knowledge, like the church I go to, when I go, they've never had a situation of this, thank God. Of course, I don't know that I'd want to, in Rankin County, you F around and find out over there with somebody's kid, he ain't going to make it to court. No. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, good morning, you're on there.
Hey, Clay, good morning. How are you? Neil calling back.
Hey, we're doing good.
Hey, got a question, man. I was listening to a conversation yesterday about this DEI. Who was the main beneficiary of that? Because I thought it was, my colleagues, African American people, but this guy said that it was more white women that was beneficial of the DEI programs. Can you enlighten me on that? So I can know for a fact that what he said is true.
Well, I don't know on that. I'll be honest. I didn't think it was the DEI was as much about black people as I thought it was the transgender nut jobs.
Yeah, he said there was more white women. So I just want to make sure he was talking about it.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I'm not 100% sure who benefited the most from it. I mean, I know there were some of the DEI was not all bad. Like some places needed a little diversity, equity, and inclusion. But what it was is it was bastardized into turning into being forced to promote people who were more than single oppressed. It's like if you were black and gay, or if you were gay and trans. If am I making sense there? It was really leveraged to force promote all of this nonsense. To me, it wasn't a color of skin thing, but if they could use the color of skin and then lump it together with one of the rainbow flavors, they were able to force promote people that didn't deserve it. And and it was a lot of a lot of women were beneficiaries of the DEI stuff, especially in positions like airline pilots, air traffic control people, stuff like that. That maybe weren't worthy of those positions, but there was a strong independent women, and they changed the rules to allow them to participate.
That's right.
Appreciate it, brother. Hope I answered that well. Yeah, it was the DEI was not just about race and LGBTQ. Yeah. There was a lot of women that got in positions that they didn't deserve, and I think obviously any woman can be an FAA air traffic controller. Any woman can be a plane pilot. We've talked about this here, and we made a lot of people mad. We're talking about women on the battlefield. I don't think women need to be frontline Operation Human Shield soldiers, but there's a lot of things women can do in battle that just same as men can do. Fighter jet pilots, helicopter pilots, the things we just mentioned. But there's some things that they should not be doing, and DEI programs were allowing that, and they were also fast-tracking them into positions that they weren't ready to be in, and they were changing rules to allow them into those positions. There's a well-known woman here in central Mississippi that was a trooper that got through trooper school because they changed the PT rules for her to get through. And anyway,
and I don't think they should do that. I think
absolutely not.
But if you're a woman and you could pass the same physical standards, I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, 100%. Let's take a break. We ran over big there. We'll be right back with Shaun YURTKURAN here on the Clay Edwards Show. Having a good time this FAFO Friday, man. It's been a fun show so far today. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as the TuneIn app. Alexa, just search WYAB. Also, streaming a stunning 4K video. Watch us online. Look at Shaun's hat of the day. He's got them big hooters on the top of it.
Yeah.
at Save JXM on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. This segment brought to you by our friends Mazda Jackson. Guys, they're down there at the outlet malls in Pearl through the 17th of this month. I guess that's Sunday, right? Today's 14th, tomorrow. So through Monday. They're down there through Monday, St. Patrick's Day, off-site March Madness Sell-a-thon. Over 150 new and used vehicles. Don't forget, every Mazda comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. That's what I'm telling you. I just I'm buying today an extended warranty for my new truck. And I'm going to tell you, as much as I'm paying for that thing, I wish I had came with a lifetime powertrain warranty. But I digress. Get down there, get you a lifetime powertrain warranty with your new Mazda, and take advantage of financing rates as low as 0.9%. That is less than 1% on a new Mazda. But hey, maybe Mazda's not your thing. Maybe you don't want a new vehicle. They got plenty of pre-owned as well. Shop them online, MazdaofJackson.com. Go see one of our good buddies, longtime friend and listener of the show, Mr. Grady Portera. He'll be down at the off-site sale. Great guy to do business with. I co-sign on Grady. I would send my mama to buy a car from Grady, and that feels like the highest compliment that I can give anybody. He's that good. He would treat you right and do you good and be respectful, and you know you got a good deal. Grady Patera, Mazda Jackson, off-site sale event, outlets of Mississippi right there in Pearl. But, hey, the dealership's open too. They got a sales team there as well if you don't feel like going to Rankin County. All right, MazdaJackson.com. Shaun, YURTKURAN. This has been an interesting conversation this morning.
Yep.
That was not in the show notes.
No.
Something that was in the show notes that we got to hit because it's the top thing I put in the show notes.
Yeah, sure.
Is there was an interesting an interesting case over in Rankin County, and it looks like, I thought I had it here in my notes. Where did it go?
Yeah, you sent it to me this morning. I read it.
Yeah, so the Brandon Police Department, and I just wanted your opinion on this from a legal perspective. The Brandon Police Department is being forced to return $225,000.
Yeah, that's what it said.
To a California man. Let's pull it up here. Yeah, Rankin County likely appealing decision requiring authorities to repay $225,000 in seized funds. Now, this is Brandon Police that did this. I'm pulling the story up here. I didn't get past the headline, but just I wanted to hear your legal perspective on this. So it says a decision requiring the Brandon Police Department to repay a California man $225K seized during a 2020 traffic stop could be on its way to the state's highest court. Last fall, the Mississippi Court of Appeals ruled that Brandon authorities would have to repay the amount to Ray Young Chung. I remember this bust, actually, because the amount was so high, saying that the state did not sufficiently prove the money was subject to being taken. The Rankin County District Attorney's Office asked for a rehearing, and in late February, the appeals court denied that request. Last week, the office was granted an extension to file for a writ of what is that word, Corey? Shaun? Certiorari?
Certiorari?
Yeah, that's it. What does that mean?
Writ of certiorari. It's like an appeal, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
A writ of certiorari, meaning that the office will likely ask the Mississippi Supreme Court to take the case under review. At the heart of the matter are funds seized by Brandon Police Department during a 2020 traffic stop on I-20. Chung, a South Korean native and a California resident, was pulled over while traveling westbound in a commercial truck. The funds were found in a duffel bag, separated into envelopes, each containing $5,000. Chung said he needed the money to make repairs on the truck. Authorities said Chung fit the profile of a drug courier and pointed to his use of paper rather than electric logs, as well as excessive downtime in known drug destination areas. The petition for a writ of whatever the word is due on March 25th. Look, as big of a supporter of law enforcement as I am not a fan of them seizing money without proof that it was tied to drugs.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't have drugs in the car, I mean, I know there's some weird law about it being illegal to have more than $10,000 in cash on you too, which is so strange to me. But yeah, I've got a problem with that. I mean, I'm not saying that the money's clean, but you're going to have to prove it's not before you just take $250,000 from somebody.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it's called the forfeiture laws, which are, I did those years ago, but what I do know, what I do recall is that, like, if there's property that's incident to an arrest that you believe that's part of like some kind of criminal enterprise, and there's a way to seize that property prior to a criminal conviction. It's very strange. Actually, I agree with you on that. It's not I'm not in favor of those laws, but I understand. But that's what they can do. They can seize cash, cars, guns, things connected to criminal activity or fees, and then they can auction them off and sell them or do whatever.
I would be interested.
But you could contest it too, obviously.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know.
Which the guy obviously did.
Like, what was the downtime? I would just like to read that. Like, I mean, because that's Bubba's office. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of Bubba. I would like to understand how they piece that together. And I mean, I understand. That you seized $250,000. That's a big part of your budget now. You done spent that money. Well, we didn't got some armored vehicles or something over there in Brandon. But. Yeah. Just like what was the known drug areas? How long was he down? Like, what can we prove? Because all that just seems circumstantial.
Well, usually it's like this. So most of them work. Okay, it's like they go and you see all the pictures that the sheriff's departments around the state put up about all the dope, and then there's guns and there's cash. Well, obviously that was part of a criminal enterprise, and then a lot of times that money's not contested because the guy's going to get convicted anyway. So he's like, yeah, keep the $200,000, maybe that, whatever. So then that's the majority of it that you see. But then there's situations like this, which seems like there wasn't anything other than that, according to the article. I don't know what the whole facts are, and so that makes it a little bit more difficult. I did a lot more when I was working at the Attorney General's office when it was related to counterfeit merchandise, and you could forfeit in that aspect and things that were connected to that business. But yeah, usually that's what it is. It's usually like a dope dealer, and they find a bunch of guns and cash, and they forfeit the cash, and nobody really complains that much because it's a dope dealer and they don't care. So that's what you see more often than not.
That's interesting.
But in this situation, it's kind of weird. It seems like the guy just had cash. I mean, if somebody's running around with a bunch of cash and there's suspicion and whatnot, I guess that's their argument that they're making, that the state's making here. But I don't know what other clues led them to believe it was connected to a criminal enterprise.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we've got a lot of hits on this UMMC story, and people really want us to read a few things about how they do not feel safe there.
Sure.
So in fairness, we will discuss that, but none of this changes my mind about what I believe happened that night. And the girl has resurfaced online too, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun YURTKURAN. It's a FAFO Friday. Get your green shirt ordered now to get it in time for the parade next weekend. Buy FAFO.com. We'll be right back. When necessary. Welcome back in when necessary here to the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, it's a Fried Fish Friday at all of our favorite, or some of our favorite restaurants here in Central Mississippi that offer Blue Plate lunches. We love to promote our Blue Plate lunches. I kind of lump all the advertisers here on the station that I know have Blue Plates. McBee's isn't an advertiser on the Clay Edwards Show, but they're an advertiser on Kim Wade's show. So we like to mention McBee's, and plus one of my good friends owns the place, and it is my account. So we tell you about McBee's, man. They got fried fish today, hand-battered, southern fried, Mississippi-raised catfish right there at McBee's on Lake Harbor Drive. Did you know they've been open since 1982? Now, it's changed owners a couple times, but
just because we were hanging out there all fall.
Yes.
But now I know that.
Sean's aware. It's been buzzing the res since 1982. Hey, look, fried fish isn't your thing. That don't mean you still can't swing by McBee's. They got everyday meats available, such as hamburger steak, fried or grilled chicken breast, and the country fried steak is phenomenal. Y'all know I love my country fried steak. Anyway, that's McBee's, and of course, they got a wide array of sides to choose from, and the full menu's available. Go see my friend Christy behind the bar, and the great staff on the other side of the bar as well. Moving on to one of my other favorite places where I'll be eating at one of these today. I got to beat a guy. Shout out to Chandler Suros. He's my locksmith buddy. I'll tell you a quick story about him too. I want to give him a free plug today. But Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, all 3 locations. It's a Fried Fish Friday, but they also have hamburger steak and red beans and rice with sausage on the blue plate if the fried fish isn't your thing. And then last and absolutely certainly not least, our friends at Martin's Downtown and Martin's Livingston. It is a fried chicken Friday. But hey, they do have fried fish on the menu there that you can get any day with that Mardi Gras sauce on top of it, I think. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And that may not be the sauce they put on it, but they put some kind of amazing cream sauce on the top of their fried fish there. You don't have to get it with that. You can get it without. But anyway, Martin's Livingston and Martin's Downtown. It's a fried chicken Friday for their Blue Plate. And don't forget, this Sunday, Martin's Livingston.
Yep.
It's the big St. Patrick's Day crawfish bowl. Post-tornado, if anything's left, the party will be at Martin's Livingston. And tonight, while the tornadoes are allegedly coming through, I'm kidding about the tornado stuff, by the way. I don't want anybody to know I'm joking. But look, hey, if you're looking for something fun, if you're looking for something fun to do tonight, and you're an '80s rock fan, '70s rock fan, or '90s rock fan, Aerosmith covered all the decades. Pandora's Box, the Aerosmith tribute band, will be at Martin's downtown tonight. And look, we always talk about Jackson, but Martin's is inside the Capital Improvement Zone, so you got Capitol Police there. I'm co-signing on it. It's safe at Martin's. Get on down there, enjoy the Aerosmith tribute band tonight. I said I wanted to give a free plug real quick. My buddy Chandler Soros, it's S-E-R-O-S, not Soros, not like George Soros, Soros. He's a locksmith. He lives in Brandon, but he works in the entire Tri-County area. A buddy of mine, one of my friend's younger sons, called me at 10 o'clock Tuesday night, and he's like, Clay, or was it Wednesday night? Whatever night I went to that thing, Wednesday night. I was getting home because the Clay just bought an F-250 and I've locked my keys in the thing. Do you know a locksmith? I said, I do. I'm sure he'll be able to get out there in the morning. I'll give you his name. He'll come to you. I sent the kid Chandler's number, and then I shot Chandler a text and said, hey, I just gave your number to somebody who's going to reach you. It's 10 o'clock. I didn't want you to think it was weird or not a safe situation. I'm just letting you know he's a friend of mine. Sean, I thought he was going to get out there the next day. This dude got up out of bed and went over there, and within 30 minutes of the first text, he had this dude's truck unlocked and got him his, on those Fords, they got the keypads on the door.
Yeah, sure.
When you buy a used one, nobody ever knows the keypad number.
Yeah.
He got him his keypad number and got his keys out of the truck for him, and did it on the low as a solid for me.
That's nice.
And I was like, man, I just want to make sure I give this dude a plug. So here's what I'm asking everybody to do: get your phone out right now, and I want y'all to type a phone number in. And for the name, you ain't got to worry about his name. Just type in locksmith.
I'm actually going to put that in my phone just because this happens to me.
If you get in a bind, you don't have to try to remember, Clay, what was that guy's name? Just type in locksmith and give Chandler a call. He'll come to you. It's 601-954-8570. 601-954-8570. I met Chandler because he does a lot of stuff for the dealerships and all that. He can make keys for you. He's really inexpensive when it comes to that. It doesn't matter what it is. Got a keypad, whatever. He can get it for you. You lock your key in your car, he can get it out, all that stuff. That's Chandler Soros. Just type in locksmith and put that number I gave you in. If you need it, holler at me. I'll shoot it to you. But every now and then, I just like to give somebody a free plug that does good business. Speaking of that, Mayflower. Ate there yesterday for lunch.
How was that?
I had not been since the reopening. Thumbs up.
Awesome.
Thumbs up. I got the hamburger steak. It was the blue plate of the day. Sadly, they do not have veal cutlets. Mm-hmm. Now, they may have it as a blue plate one day, but yesterday's blue plate was hamburger steak. I have zero complaints. I ate every bit of it. They still have the legendary comeback dressing. It was really, really good. Y'all will find out more about this, but I will tell you, I had an unexpected lunch with the Lieutenant Governor yesterday, Delbert Hosemann, and Senator Chad McMahon. And I got to spend an hour and a half with Delbert talking about a bunch of stuff. The plan right now is to have Delbert on the show next week to discuss some of those things. It was a very interesting conversation, and look, I've obviously had my disagreements with Delbert, but the fact that he wanted to sit down and have lunch with me and meet me and talk about some things. Look, I'm never going to be too big for my pants, and I don't appreciate the levity of that. And I thought that was pretty cool. It doesn't change my opinions on some things, but I will say he's a very, very nice man. But he's also a politician, and job is to be nice to folks.
Yeah.
I know how the game is played, but I just wanted to say, we're going to have him on the show next week one day. That's the plan right now. Of course, plans can change. Of course, if tornadoes come through and take us all out, there might not be a show next week. But according to the weatherman, of course. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. But Mayflower, they're not a sponsor, but again, I'm not above giving somebody a plug when I get good service somewhere, and I got great service and great food at the Mayflower. I highly recommend going by and checking it out. Especially if you love Jackson nostalgia. It was pretty cool. You hadn't been?
No, I've not been yet. I've not made it by. Yeah. Not since they reopened. I mean, obviously I've been there many, many times, but not since they've reopened. Yep. Sure.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a dive into the this UMMC thing. I got a friend that works there, and I'm just going to read her text to me. She's kind of fired up this morning about it. She says, wow, she's been texting a lot. She says, have you ever been in the UMMC parking lot? You're making up some scandalous social story and missing the opportunity for the real juicy story here. UMMC admin forces us to park in that lot. We get tickets or a boot on your car if you try to park in the parking garage, even if you're willing to pay for it. One of my very good work friends was beaten in that parking lot like a year ago. It was pretty much the exact same thing that happened to this Morgan girl. So, yes, I believe her. There are random bums and sketchy dudes roaming that lot all the time. They prey on us because they know we don't have weapons and 90% females. UMMC does nothing to protect us. And she says here, the real story is how UMC would rather spend tens of thousands of dollars on a machine to scan for wounds that don't even exist yet so they can skirt having to pay for bed sores than post security guards in the lot or add extra security or lighting or fencing. Now, look, I'm not here to defend UMC or how safe the lot is or isn't. I agree with them. The lot's probably not safe. There probably is a lot of things that go on over there. And I've never called out a story of attack before over there as being questionable. There's just some stuff about this story that are questionable.
Yeah, I mean,
then I don't know what else to say.
Several things.
There's just several things about it that don't make sense to me.
No, I mean, just the
there's some law enforcement that feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, and exactly, and there's if you look again, if anybody just look at the photographs, we could be wrong. We're going to preface this whole thing and say we could be wrong. Do I think I'm wrong? Do I think Clay's wrong? I don't think we are wrong, but we could be wrong. There's no strangulation marks on her neck. She's talking about being choked. Generally, when you get strangled, and I've prosecuted people, I've defended people, you have marks. You're going to have marks on your neck. There's no marks. Her nails are not broken, and she's talking about a fight. And she's got really long fingernails. I don't know if they're press-on nails or whatever you call them. Look, you can see in the photographs. That seems odd to me. I don't know about y'all. You look at it. Tell me you think that a woman gets in a fight and the nails aren't broken. Seems very strange. The most marks on her forehead, which you can hit your forehead, and it doesn't hurt as bad as if you hit your nose. Her nose is not broken, which is, a human being is not going to intentionally break their nose, because if anybody knows been punched in the nose, it really hurts. It really hurts. And so, I don't know. All of it looks very suspect to me. The changing of her name on Facebook, I thought was very suspect. I don't know. Like, now, of course, I've heard
she was already not using her real name, or she's not using her last name. I'm guessing she's using her first name and middle name. And she already wasn't using her last name, so why change the name?
Yeah.
That was real suspicious to me. And I did have a nurse reach out to me and say, Clay, a lot of us nurses don't use our last names on Facebook because of stalkers and this, that, and the other.
And okay, look, there's a reason, but she changed it though.
She changed her spelling of her not full name.
And maybe she, I think people said, well, maybe she was worried about the guy, but I mean, the guy who she says in her statement is asking for money, and then she tries to give it to him, and he doesn't take it, even though he was asking for it.
Yeah.
Seems a little strange to me. Now, again, this could be all. We're just pointing out things in the story that are very odd. The story also sounds completely scripted, the way it's written out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you the link to the fund, or the story about nurses being abused on the job was the big red flag for me.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? What does that have to do with it not being safe in the parking lot?
Right.
Because that is nurses being attacked by, unruly patients, stuff of that nature. What it felt like to me was, guys, I'm a victim no matter what comes of this. And maybe I have to be forced to do this to bring attention to this. I don't think that's what it was. I'm just saying she's just seems to be going above and beyond to let you know that she is a victim, and this is not a safe place for her to be working. And rumor has it that she doesn't like living here and wants to move out of here and is kind of stuck here for a particular reason, and maybe she could be trying to force her way out of the state.
Yeah, I mean, and then
allegedly,
she says someone pulls up and have they interviewed that person? Did they see anything? Not from what I've heard.
Yep.
So I've not heard that yet. That's coming out. So that could be really interesting. Now let's also take this. If this story is not true, it's a crime to do this.
Yeah.
So I hope, that is very apparent. It is a crime to file a false police report. So maybe it's true, but if it's not, just putting that out there.
Yeah, and look, and again, I 100% agree that that's probably not the safest parking lot.
Yeah, sure.
And they probably should, I don't know what they do and what they don't do, but I've heard from enough nurses and people that work there that I believe y'all.
Right.
If you say it's not safe, I mean, look, this is Clay Edwards. You're trying to convince something ain't safe in Jackson. Yeah. You don't have to twist my arm hard here. I didn't post this and I didn't give this opinion because I thought it would be a juicy social media story. It's not why I do stuff. I mean, I could avoid a lot of heat by just going along to get along with this story.
Sure.
Like this is not one of those things where I'm talking about and I'm getting a bunch of admiration and attaboys because of it. I've caught a lot of smoke because of my opinion on this. Mm-hmm. My life would be a lot easier to just keep my mouth shut sometimes.
Absolutely.
But when I think something's wrong and I think somebody is trying to use the fact that Jackson's dangerous to advance their personal agenda, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not the first time this is. I think you and I were talking about this, and like I said, I experienced this a lot working at the DA's office, where people come up with crimes that were committed against them that weren't.
We're going to finish this online. We'll be right back.
Sure.
Online, don't go nowhere. Radio, we'll be right back. All right, Shaun, pick up where you left off there. I'm sorry. Experience this.
There's a lot of people that would like say they owed on their car, so they park it on. I think I told the story. Park it on Medgar Evers and leave the keys in it and say, "Oh, it was stolen." I mean, it's Jackson. The car is stolen, right?
Yep.
Or whatever. So they get the There's just, I mean, because Jackson's an easy target. Like, there's a lot of crime here, and so like, okay, yeah, my car was stolen, or I've seen a lot of people make up robberies that they were robbed. That happens a lot. Like, it's not like this is unheard of to invent a crime in Jackson for a certain, whatever the reason is going to be. So it's not the first time I've ever heard of that happening. Now, I hate it. Look, this really happened. I hate it. I don't personally believe it did in the way she said, but I could be wrong.
Well, Shaun, something that I've learned from you is you have a defense when you're closing, or you have a closing argument. So what is it? Something about coincidences?
Well, that's when I was prosecutor. Yeah, I used to call it a man of 1,000 coincidences. Yeah, it's like, or the unluckiest man in the world. Like, wow, what a coincidence this happened, and there's all these coincidences together.
Well, there's a lot of coincidences in this story.
Absolutely,
that don't make sense for me.
Yeah,
one or two maybe. Because weird stuff happens in the commission of a crime. Mm-hmm. 6, 7 weird coincidences, red flags. You got to pay attention to them.
I mean, like, Clay, where is the marks on the woman's neck after being choked like that?
Yeah.
There just isn't any. And, like, I know this sounds stupid, and I'll keep saying it again. The nails, like, your nails will break. Like, they're going to break in a fight like that. And they're not broken? I mean...
Nails break during sex all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And just regular stuff. I can't imagine...
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that is it possible for them not to? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, it's possible.
But what a coincidence.
Any DNA? Did they check him for any of the DNA for the guy? Did you get any? Were you able to grab him, push him back, or anything? He just laid there and didn't fight back at all.
And I mean, why are there marks like up here, up top on her forehead, and like did she got something with her eye? But like nothing around the right. Like when you hit somebody, you're not aiming for their forehead.
Yeah.
You don't aim to hit somebody in their forehead.
So she got hit 10 times in the head. I mean,
like in your forehead, like you're gonna somebody's gonna punch you in your forehead.
Yeah.
Like deliberately.
Man, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for thinking something ain't right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
sorry y'all don't believe me or don't agree with me, and I think that y'all are probably gonna end up being wrong when it's all said and done.
I think so too.
But I just like I'll apologize if I'm wrong. I'm going to expect some apologies when I'm right.
I mean, and also, I said this before. Most victims of violent crimes like that don't generally jump on social media. That's not the first thing they do. Having interviewed hundreds of them over the years, it's hard enough to get them to talk to you as the prosecutor.
Of all these attacks that I've heard
that
have happened, I've never seen any of the victims post their pictures like this on social media.
It's very rare. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before,
sure.
but it's not. It was certainly not the norm. They're usually like scared and don't want to say anything at all. Like even though it's like when you can talk to first responders better that because they're the first ones to deal with them. And then when they get to us, the DA's office back when I did that, like it still is hard for them to do that. So, like, that kind of attack. So the way she publicized this, again, this goes back, you just said it, my old closing argument, what a coincidence. There's a lot of coincidences that are together. And I mean, it didn't, you know, and the easiest one is, and we forgot to mention this right now, is he didn't take the money. He didn't take the money. Like,
yep.
Riddle me that, Batman. I mean, you know, like, we're in Jackson. Yep. These dudes want to take the money. I mean, they ain't just gratuitous beaters.
All right, y'all hang tight. All right, welcome back in as we land the plane for the day. If you're in Radio Land, go back and listen to the last 5 minutes of the podcast when we get it posted, or go back and find the live stream on any of the video platforms. Shaun just really broke it down about why this thing just has too many odd coincidences for him to want to believe it at face value concerning the nurse attack. And I agree with him 100%. Again, if we're wrong,
we're wrong.
We're wrong. And I hope we're wrong. We'll see you back here next week. Y'all be blessed.